Greetings, Bowtie Guy 5 here. We are continuing our deep dive into men's formal wear, and today we are going to be discussing studs and cufflinks. So, some of you have probably heard of cufflinks or are somewhat familiar with cufflinks, but you probably are not as familiar with studs. You're thinking, what is a stud? Well, it's more than just what you see here. Studs are, they're similar to a cufflink in that they are a little jeweled piece that links two sides together. But you will find them situated on the placket of the dress shirt. Now, how did this come about? That is a good question. The studs came about during the Victorian era. Starched shirts were the rage, and those stiff shirts and the shirt plackets, they were hard to button. So they came up with ideas of other ways to attach the shirt, and we ended up with buttonholes on both sides of the placket, and then little metal clasp that would come through and link both sides. And we were already getting into this with the shirt cuffs. I'm going to be discussing in a separate video the tunic style shirt with detached collar and cuff, and they were already being linked with little pieces of jewelry. So naturally they thought to match the shirt attachments to the cuff attachment, so everything was kind of congruent with each other. So that was a big thing during the Victorian era because as I discussed in an earlier video, even something as simple as dinner was seen as a formal occasion, and people would dress up in their tail suits and tuxedos, and the studs and cufflinks became, a big part of that. Of course, we get away from that as an everyday use thing as we move on into suits becoming more of a normal thing, and then even dressing down from there as we have in today's time. But they still have their place in men's formal wear. You mostly only see them with tuxedo shirts pretty much anymore. Again, as I mentioned with some rentals, sometimes you get shirts that are just a regular style dress shirt and just buttons together. You may see shirts with both. It'll have buttons, but then it'll have the stud holes alongside the buttons, so you can choose to do either or. And again, with long ties becoming more prevalent with formal wear, excuse me, the studs almost become obsolete because you're not really going to see them when you have the long tie on. They are a functional accessory in the way that they attach both sides together, but it's kind of also a highly fashionable one as well, because you're seeing there's something here on the placket, it's catching the eye. It's one way to tell if somebody actually has a real tuxedo shirt on or not, because you're going to see the studs versus the plastic buttons. And then also, so that is that's a quick history on the stud and cufflink. Now I just want to do a little demonstration on the fastening. So we'll start with the cufflink here. I have a double cuff shirt. You may see a single cuff style as well. So the double cuff, it's double cuff because there's two sides. You have this side here, the outer portion of the cuff, and the inner portion of the cuff. And the way this works on the cufflink, you have two sides. You have the jeweled side here, and then you have the peg, which is what holds the cufflink to the shirt. You always want the jewel side facing up or facing you, and the peg side facing the underside of the wrist. And kind of hard to see here probably, but you have some holes in the shirt where on a regular dress shirt where the buttons would normally be, and you just kind of take that peg and you're going to feed it through the holes and to the other side. And then once you have it on the back side, you just take that little doohickey and flip it over, and it locks it in place, linking the two cuffs together, which is where you get the name cufflink. Now for the studs, similar but different, but I'm still going to show you here. And just open up my shirt real quickly for you. So on the underside of the shirt here, where a button would normally be, you have a buttonhole. So the stud, and this is it here, similar to the cufflink, you have the jeweled side here in front, and then in the back you have a flat, longer end. This end is bigger, that's to prevent it from coming through the buttonhole. And basically what you do is you just come here and back to the underside of the hole. You feed that jeweled end through. So now you have this flat, bigger end here and back. And then you have your jeweled side here. And then basically you just feed it through the hole on the other side. And it links both sides of the shirt together. And then you just kind of go up through like so, all the way up, and your shirt is together. So, that is just a brief history on the studs and cufflinks, and a little how-to on how to put them together yourself. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you enjoy the improved audio quality. And I abhor you to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit me up in the comment section, and continue to follow me throughout this formal wear mini-series. Until next time.